right, we're going to give it a second here as we go live. Good morning. Good morning, school. Ding, ding, ding. Welcome to Friday, the world's favorite day of the week. Hey, hey. And this is the good thing is we already got muscle flying around in the comments. What's up, everybody? If you're jumping on, throw me a flex emoji in the comments. If you're ready for Friday, throw a flex emoji. Let's go. Welcome, school. We're here. We're ready. You guys ready for this Q&A today? So we have some questions, and then I've put some answers to. And before we head into a great, hot weekend that we're supposed to have here in Washington, let's answer these bad boys and get into episode 44. If you guys want to learn more about the show and jump on the newsletter for free and get some value there, get some content where we dig a little deeper through the emails, go to schoolofshredpodcast.com. Sign up for the email list, jump on there, and you will get a free guide that I'm going to be giving out for the next week or so. So go check that out. If you guys are jumping on now, good. We got some flexing going on. Let me know where you guys are at. Let me know where you're located. If you guys want to rewatch this, you have that opportunity on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just look up The School of Shred. Or if you're on Instagram, it's John Reed Fitness. And if you want to take the show on the go, take the school on the go with you, you have the podcast app for iTunes. And then you also have Spotify. Just look up The School of Shred. The Almighty, baby. So with that said, last thing is I'm doing a free webinar tonight on how you can shred your body fat in half while staying at home. My bold offer to you is that you can get more spiritually fit, mentally fit, and physically fit than you ever have before, all from the confines of home with the shred system. And I'm going to go over that tonight at 6 p.m. I'm going to post a link in the comments of all of these shows so you can take advantage of that opportunity. So let's get into it, huh? All right. So we got 4 questions here today that we're going to get into. First one, I think we're all going to relate to because it's a coffee question. I know I relate. Today, I'm actually not doing coffee. I've been alternating and not doing as much coffee, even though I love it. So I'm drinking out of my Get After It cup here today. I'm having like it's like a French vanilla tea with a splash of cream in it. So the first question is, what's the best coffee creamer alternatives? Or the question was just best coffee creamer alternatives. So this is good. This is something that I had an issue with for a long time, which was coffee creamer. I love that Coffee Mate, mystery milk stuff that they have at the store. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at the ingredients on that stuff, but you might realize in French vanilla creamer, like that regular stuff from the store, you might look at the ingredients and realize there's no dairy in it, which is weird. So I don't know how they do that. But what I do know is the first ingredient is like vegetable oils, which are toxic. So I don't put that in my body. So some good coffee creamer alternatives if you're trying to get out of the matrix here with your coffee in the morning and you don't want to spike blood glucose super high, because even milk will do that. I was doing I was playing around with it. I was playing around with raw milk in my coffee and I was testing blood glucose and it was shooting up too high for my liking in the morning and getting me out of fat burning mode. So I went back to what I've been doing, which is I do whipping cream. So like a full fat whipping cream, you can do half and half, but whipping cream is even more fatty. It's thicker, tastes really good. And so what I've converted to doing, which is hard here. I'm like Creamers Anonymous here. I'm in recovery. But so what I've been doing is whipping cream and black coffee, and it tastes amazing. So I do that. You can also look at maybe doing a little stevia in your coffee. It's a little natural sweetener. Some doctors and some literature that I've read believe that that's going to secrete insulin, and if your goal is to keep insulin really low and maintain low insulin levels, then maybe you'd want to skip out on some of these sweeteners. But I mean, the reality is, if you're slowly taking steps towards pulling creamer, like the full sugar, full vegetable oil creamers out of your plan, I would not worry about that right now. I would say stevia it up and then have it be like a long-term thing to go towards black coffee, because I still use stevia here and there. Try not to use it all the time, but we have raw stevia here in my household. And then we also have this stuff that's really good. You might want to look into on Amazon. It's like stevia chocolate syrup. And so it's like a stevia syrup. My girlfriend showed it to me, and she'll put a little bit of just like a splash of it in her coffee, mix it around. It's almost like a mocha. We actually ordered some more of it. I mix together like a chocolate protein powder, like a couple tablespoons of coconut oil, a little bit of whipping cream, and I'll put a little bit of that in there. And I make like my own pudding sometimes for like a sweet treat at night. That's just a fat bomb that's low carb. So, I do that. So you got whipping cream, stevia. You can also try the whole, the bulletproof thing, which is the coconut oil or the butter. I do cold brew in the morning. I like cold coffee, so I don't really do this as much. I am a huge fan of coconut oil, though. I love that flavor profile, and I eat a lot of coconut butter and coconut oil. So that's an option. But what you do want to look at when you start adding like coconut oil and butters into your coffees in the morning, realize that, fat is 9 calories per gram, and you don't want to overconsume these fats, right? Because at some point, you don't want to be stuffing calories constantly down your gullet. You know what I mean? So be mindful with that. If you're going to put coconut oil and butter in your coffees, that you are adding calories. And if you're just dumping a big heaping spoonful in, that could potentially be 300 to 400 calories pretty quickly. So, and yes, it's from fat. It's going to keep blood sugar low. But we also need to remember that caffeine is going to stimulate the nervous system and spike cortisol, and that can also release sugar into the blood. And so you actually are going to have an insulin response just because it's caffeine. So although there might not be any sugar in that drink, realize that the caffeine is going to create a little bit higher blood sugar, because what it's doing is it's creating that fight or flight response in the body. So those are your options there. I mean, that's what I like. So, either whipping cream, little stevia in there. You try a little monk fruit. You could do coconut oil, or you can start to play around with what I've been doing, which is like some of these mushroom blends, like chaga, and then we do a lot of different teas. I mean, I like to go to the store and pick up 2 or 3 new types of tea, just regular herbal tea, and play around with those, and not rely so much on the caffeine to balance that nervous system, as we talked about. We don't want to be reliant on caffeine, and we don't want caffeine's effects to wear off. We want it to always be potent. So, look at coffee creamer alternatives that I listed, but also look at, maybe doing a little bit of that whipping cream and some tea, like I'm doing right here, like I got. And this, what I'm drinking today, it tastes almost like a oat water or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty good though. I actually like it because I don't eat oatmeal anymore. So it tastes good. Moving on. Thank you for that question, though, student. Number 2 is, I've been doing your step tracker challenge, which has been 10K a day. If you guys have been following my stories, a non-negotiable for me is 10,000 steps a day. And I have a few different ways that I like to do that. And I, usually what I do is I set the tone of the day, like right when I get done with this show here. About 9:30, I go for a walk. So I'll go for a quick 15 to 20 minute walk. I knock out about 3,000 steps. I try to breathe through my belly and keep the nervous system calm through that time. I use it as almost like a meditation practice. I'll put on a good audio book or something, or I'll just enjoy nature. I'll go walk 20 minutes. I come home, I work a little bit. I might, if I'm doing a social media post, I might just like take a loop around the block, and that can add another 1,000 steps. What I've tried to do is just, there's a lot of stuff that I do from home that like I literally could be walking and doing. There's no reason I couldn't just be doing some movement. And this helps get at least 10,000 steps a day. I also walk in between my clients now at the gym. So on my 10-minute breaks, I jump on the treadmill. I walk. If I'm feeling froggy, I run. Like yesterday I ran. I was kind of running like, intervals of sprints yesterday, because when I got to work, I had like 2,000 steps and I needed to get 8,000 in about 5 hours. So I was getting after it. But the idea that I use here is that with 10,000 steps a day, to me, it's like it could come from one long cardio session. It could come from 5 little cardio sessions. If I know I'm going to go to the store, or if I'm going to Costco, I know that's going to carve out quite a few steps. I'm looking at overall step count, whether I run it, walk it, crawl it, whatever. That's what's been important. And so that's what this person's referring to. They've taken the challenge on. And so they ask, what is the difference or the advantage to several small walks versus one big cardio session? So the advantages are, the first thing I want to bring up is actually the brain fog is what I've noticed. So I'm working from home now as I create this second business and launch the online health academy. I'm working from home. I'm creating a lot of content. I've never actually had to do what I'm doing now, which is like I literally work from home the first half of the day right in this office that you see right now. And so with that said, I'm sitting down a lot more and my blood is pooling. But when I get up and I go for a walk and I chunk my time blocks of work into about 50 minutes, if I get up and I go outside and I just do like 10 push-ups, or if I go for a small walk, I notice that it energizes my body. And, usually at that point you would think you'd want more caffeine or something. But what I've noticed is the more walks I take, it gets, more oxygen in the body. It wakes the body up. My brain becomes more aware, and I can actually be more productive when I come to sit back down. So I think there's a lot of merit to that. That's why I like several bursts of low level activity throughout the day. That's something that I've noticed. And then aside from that, it's, if you're like, I have a bike here, and if I can jump on that and just do some, texting or take a phone call or whatever, and just lightly pedal. If you're doing short bursts of low level activity, you're not sweating, so you don't have to shower. So you don't have to really see it as a workout. And this is something that I talk about with students at the School of Shred. And we go into this in this entire curriculum, we go deep into this, which is relearning what exercise really is. Exercise is just movement. It's all on a continuum. So when you're doing resistance training, which is super important, real hard workouts, yeah, that's on the one end of the continuum. But when you want to just get steps up, humans don't move nearly enough. And that low level activity is really important. That non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Well, that's on the other end of the spectrum. And so that's why I really like the numerous walks, is because I feel like intuitively human beings, if I want to be as healthy as possible, I'm a very naturalistic kind of guy. Like I think that, we're meant to move like consistently throughout the day, not just one big burst and then sit down on our ass all day. And so for me, I really, really like this idea, and I felt the effects. And like I said, a lot of it's that brain fog goes away. And I know like when I'm at work and I'm training clients and I might be kind of feeling a little lethargic, jumping on the treadmill and just walking for 10 minutes, it's amazing how it recharges the body. Instead of maybe jumping for more caffeine, which I definitely consume caffeine. I'm a big fan, but I do like the numerous walks as opposed to one large walk, run, whatever, big cardio session. And also, if you're doing resistance training and you're doing another big cardio session, what your brain is looking at is 2 big workouts a day. So it's 2 times where you got to do workouts, you're sweating, then you got to go shower, which is cool sometimes. But when we want to make this a long-term lifestyle, this is what I talk about when I say leverage your lifestyle. When you leverage your lifestyle with, say, I take a walk after my show, that's real easy. I can keep my sandals on and go get 3,000 steps in a very chill way. And if I do that 2-3 times throughout the day, I've hit 5 to 6 miles a day walking without really knowing, because I've split it up. It's a little more favorable. And then don't get me wrong, there's some days that I get all of them done at once. I go, if I walk and play golf, do 18 holes, that could be like 16,000 steps right there. Sometimes I'll just go for a run because I feel like I want to go run. And so I'll go run 5 to 7 miles and I'll get 10,000 steps in there. So you guys have options. But that's the difference. And so the 10K challenge is like, you find what works for you. If you're going to get, say, 7,500 steps a day or 10,000 steps a day, and the advantage to several small walks versus one big walk, or one big cardio session is that you don't have to shower all the time. You really quit seeing it as like a workout. You see it as more of just trying to move your body more, and you leverage your lifestyle. And so that's something to consider there. Number 3, I want to start taking steps towards increasing my food quality. We got a golf clap here. Where should I start? Okay, this is great. So this person's obviously a little bit further down the line. They are wanting to increase their food quality. And so if we look at kind of like a hierarchy of importance here, first thing you want to do is start, correcting, consumption, right? So you can kind of look at it on like that macro level, start to address some calories and get into a negative energy balance, start burning some body fat, start taking care of your hormones. For me, the thing that's really interesting is like, what's really changing with the calorie drop? Is it more of the hormones, or is it just this calories in, calories out? We could get into a deep discussion on that, but that's kind of the first thing is when you address that. And like I talked about earlier in the week, if you're balling on a budget, you're not worried about food quality in the beginning. Like it's not that it's not important. It's just that if you don't have the money to buy grass-fed meats and whatnot, ethically raised sources, then you have to go with what you can go for. You have to go for, say, like I used to have to shop the sales and maybe the meat that was going a little bit bad, and freeze it and whatnot, and get the cheap beef and all that, and the regular eggs. But eventually, when you want to start taking steps like this person is towards more quality, where should you start? Like, where's a good place to start? So low-hanging fruit and more cost-effective ways of increasing your food quality today are eggs. So I always tell people to start there. So, when I first started getting eggs, I'd get the big 5 dozen box of them, and it was, less than $10. I talked about that earlier this week. But what you'll notice is those yolks are flat and they're really yellow, and they clearly lack the nutrition that a higher quality egg does. And so the first thing you can do is throw a couple more bucks at your egg consumption, and you can get some good free range, pasture raised eggs. And those guys are going to have like big, bubbly, dark orange yolks that are full of micronutrition. Okay, full of micronutrition. And so that's only going to cost you a couple more bucks every time you go to the store and pick those guys up. If you can find a local farmer, I mean, a lot of people are giving away eggs if you can source them the right way. So that's a really interesting way to go. Eggs is a great way to go if you're trying to increase your food quality. You're going to get more vitamins and minerals out of it. The more you increase your food quality, the less supplements you need. Think about it like that. The only reason we're taking multivitamins and such is because we have depleted our mineral content in this country over the last 100 years. Just by the way, spraying things with glyphosates that are Roundup, and we don't have livestock that is living on the same land as where the food is grown, because all of that creates this ecosystem that makes the soil really rich. But we've split everything up, and it's just this big, huge business that's losing nutrition content. So this is why a lot of your vegetables just aren't producing as much nutrition content, and your animals aren't either. Your animals are important, and all these things, whether it is a plant or it's an animal, they are feeding off the land, whether it's the soil, the grass, whatever, and they're collecting the nutrition as they eat it. It behooves you, and it should be something that's important to you, that the food that you consume is consuming good food. Okay, there's a thing called epigenetics. It's really important. It's gene expression. It's and then not only that, it's like the amounts of, like, say, DHA and omega-3s that are in grass-fed meats, and like CLA and tonylin and stuff like that. That's all really important stuff that's not in grain-fed meat. So taking long-term steps is something you should look at. Don't think you're not healthy, though, if you're not doing that right now. So I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent. So, but eggs is a good place to start. And then ground beef. Ground beef is another great place to start. Grass-fed ground beef, you can get like Whole Foods. I think it's like $6 or $7.99 a pound. It's a couple bucks more than just regular beef, but it's only a couple bucks more. It's not like getting a ribeye that's a grass-fed ribeye that's like $5 more a slab of it. They're super expensive. I don't even recommend getting those. I just recommend that you go buy a side of beef if you really want to have all those ribeyes, which is kind of what I'm in the process of doing and converting to, and growing my own livestock and all that. So, eggs, ground beef. You can switch over to organic veggies, veggies that don't have a cover on them. So, if you think like a banana, it's got like a shield around it. That's if it's being sprayed with stuff. But like lettuce and such, that's being sprayed with pesticides. So that's the first stuff that you should look at in terms of going organic and making sure that it's really taken care of. And then as time goes on, you can look at more things like organic bananas and like oranges and such. So things that have that peel on them, that's like a protective layer between the pesticide and the inside of the fruit. Still not changing the genetic modifications that's going on with it and why it's so big. We actually got some apples recently from my girlfriend's mom's farm, and they are like tiny, like smaller than my fist, teeny little apples. And it's funny how, in nature, when it's very natural, the amount of sugar that nature will actually give you, at once, it's very small. So anyway, that's, and then the last thing is oils. So put your money into your good oils. So good extra virgin olive oil that is cold pressed. Do your research on these guys. Make sure they're not using hexane to try and extract more crude oil. They're putting more chemicals in that to try and get more bang for their buck. Find these cold processed places that are giving you high quality oil, and they're packaging, these monounsaturated fats like avocado oil and olive oil in dark glass bottles. Okay, because we don't want light getting to our oil, and we don't want heat getting to our oil. We don't want oxygen getting to our oil. That all increases risk of it turning rancid and oxidizing, and that can create free radicals. So we want to really put a big ticket on having good oils in our house. And so if there's one thing you could do this weekend, it's go throw away all your vegetable oils, dump them down the drain, give them to somebody, and then go start fresh. You can go somewhere like Primal Kitchen or Chosen Foods has good avocado oil. They were one of the ones that tested to be totally pure in a recent study that came out. But you go get avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil. You can get grass-fed ghee. You can get rendered duck fat. You can get coconut oil. You just get that from Costco, because that's saturated fat that doesn't need to be in a dark glass bottle. It would be nice if it was in a glass thing, so it's not sitting in plastic, but saturated fat can withstand the heat and the oxygen. It doesn't change its chemical compounds when it's heated up as much. It's very resilient fats. So anyway, you can go get all of those types of fat and then start fresh. That would be the way to go. Stop using vegetable oils, you guys. It's not worth it. Read Deep Nutrition from Kate Shanahan if you guys want to learn like even more than I'm giving here on this topic. It is absolutely essential. Get rid of vegetable oils before you get rid of sugar. When you heat these things up, they turn into trans fat, and we've already made trans fat illegal. But Kate does a good job of getting into that in that book. I recommend it to anybody who's interested in learning about oils. So with that said, thank you for that question. Number 4, what are some beverage options aside from water? Oh, come on, man. You don't like water? Come on. You don't like water? All right. I know it's tough when you're getting healthy and all you're drinking is water and coffee. It's like, what else do you drink? So let's get into it. So you got tea, which is huge. So I've become a big tea drinker. I have all sorts of tea in my home. So I have nighttime teas like chamomile, kava. There's we have like lavender stuff and all these really soothing teas, peppermint teas at night. I like to have a cup of tea before bed. It winds me down, winds the central nervous system down. So you have that, and then you have some of the, we have Earl Grey for the morning. That's got a little caffeine. We have green tea. Green tea's got L-theanine, which is good for balancing caffeine's effects. We got black tea. What else do I got? I like teas with orange peel a lot, like orange peel and cinnamon. But if you go out and you just splurge, and it's like you just explore, just start grabbing different teas that look good to you, heat up some water, and and pop that tea in, and just like you can make summer tea right now if you want iced tea. But that's something, that's something. I've done iced tea before where I put some stevia in there. So I make a big gallon of it and I put like a quarter cup of stevia and mix it in, or half cup, and just kind of find your sweetness. Don't go overboard with the stevia, but it's definitely a better option than sugar. So that can help if you want a little sweetness. And then we have carbonated water. So carbonated water is big. The LaCroix and all those guys are getting better and better, and that's just water. that's been carbonated. So that's what I've converted over to. I have always had an issue with artificial sweeteners myself. I haven't really drank soda in my whole adult life anymore. I grew up on soda though. So I kind of have that propensity to slide back into that hole of like diet soda. So I like, Diet Mountain Dew and stuff like that. Haven't touched that stuff for a super long time now. And then even in the last like two months, I've not even done, I used to do a couple, I do like a Bang once a week, twice a week. I got it down to that, or like a sugar-free Rockstar. I'm done with all that stuff. I'm done with it completely. I'm just doing black coffee, but I am doing carbonated water. I really enjoy that. So carbonated water is good. You can have that stuff. Not bad at all. Then we have kombucha. We got the kombucha warrior in the house commenting, kombucha, baby. Yes. So kombucha, throw some fire in the comments if you guys are into kombucha. Who drinks the kombucha tea? Who drinks the kombucha? Let's go. Come on, comment. Comment, or I'm going to stop the show right now. I want to see it. Who's drinking the kombucha? So anyway, I love kombucha. There we go. There's the fire. So I love kombucha. I actually make it myself. And so because it's like, almost $4 a bottle, you can make it yourself. So all that booch, man, you can make it yourself. So you can buy a starter from like Amazon, the SCOBY. It's a little bacteria piece that sits on top. And what you do is you boil up like a gallon of sweet tea or half gallon of water. You boil it. Then you put like 5 tea bags of like black tea in there or green tea, whatever you want. Steep it. And then I add another half gallon of cold water. So that makes 1 gallon of this tea. I dump it in a big glass pot. And then what you do is you put the SCOBY over the top of it. You lay it down. You got to mix in sugar, by the way. So you get like a cup of organic sugar. That's what the microbes eat and ferment. And then you put the SCOBY on top of it and then cover it with like I think it's a cheesecloth is what I got. And so it can kind of breathe. And then you just, you temperature control it. I have a thing that I wrap around it that controls the temperature in the winter. But right now you'd be fine. But then you just store it for, a week or two. Usually about a week. And then what I'll do is I'll pull it out. I'll pop some berries in there for a couple of days. So like I'll flavor it. So I might do ginger and raspberries and blueberries and maybe some pineapple or something. The sugary foods actually help ferment it even more. And it basically converts the sugars in the fermentation process. So it's not super sugary. And then you can bottle it yourself. And for a couple of days, it builds up that carbonation and boom, you got your own kombucha. So that's a great way to go as well. I love having kombucha. There's a little sugar in it. Like if you're looking at some of the stuff like the GT Synergy, which is good stuff. I like it. But, that is another route you can take. And it's like you're getting like 10 grams of sugar. It's at least it's not some of the alternatives, right? It's actually going to do some good for your gut. We also have kefir. Yeah, so kefir, you could do that. Kefir, however you want to say it. That's another great option if you guys want to do a little bit of that. But those are your options. Then you have like branched chain amino acids if you find one that doesn't have artificial sweeteners in it. If you're in the beginning of this thing and you're just trying to get off of all the processed food and the boxed foods and all that, you can get a branched chain amino acid that's got some artificial sweeteners if you want. I've just seen research that just goes back and forth both ways of how it's not good for you. So, if it's a stalemate to me and I see people going back and forth, what I know is that, a couple 100 years ago when people were thriving and cancer was low, people weren't consuming a lot of this stuff. So try to go with the stuff that's more natural. It just intuitively makes sense to me. And that's just like my opinion, man, to quote the Big Lebowski. So those are your 4 questions, folks. God, look at this. We're 29 minutes in. I'm just getting good at talking on here. If you've hung with me so far, thank you. Thank you. Throw a flex emoji in the comments. All right, let's end the week strong. We're going to wrap up right now. This is episode 44, Q&A Friday. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. You're all champions. And I'm really happy that you guys are tuning in. I hope you guys are learning a lot. Keep giving me feedback. The school is here for you. It's to help you shred your old and make better your new, a better body, a better mindset, so you can create a better life. The whole idea with fitness is holistic fitness is getting the body healthy so you can go produce more in your life, more in your relationships, more in your business, so you can go fulfill your purpose more and live a great life, because that's really, why we do this. That's why I do this. And I didn't know it when I first got into fitness, but I was trying to become a man of integrity and somebody that I would respect and look up to. It wasn't really about the six pack. It was just, that was kind of the part of the vision that I saw of kind of the ultimate figure in my mind. But really, it's about living this great life and having wealth in your relationships, wealth in your financial situation, wealth in your spirit, which is really the most important thing, and being mindful every day and appreciating your life. And I mean, that's what it's about, man. That's what health is about. And that's the journey that you're on. If you're watching this, it's nothing but awesomeness. Like, you're not gonna regret being on this journey. So thank you guys for tuning in and getting down with holistic health and fitness here at the School of Shred. Again, tonight at 6 p.m., I'm doing a free webinar. I'm going to add all of the links and whatnot in the comments. So thank you guys. We'll see you on Monday at 9 a.m. next week. With that, I want you guys to stay strong and healthy in body. Stay relentless and energized in your spirits. And stay determined in your pursuits. That spells shred. Now go shred the day and get better in every way. Until next week, class is dismissed. School's out. Have an awesome weekend, you guys. We'll see you next week.